Hello, welcome back to the internet's number one fake history podcast, The Lore Boys. I'm your host, Ethan Palmer. Today's climber joining me today on Ascension 6-7 is James. Hey, Jimbo.
Hi, everybody.
Today's episode dedicated to patron Lucky and G. Thanks for requesting Slay the Spire lore. Thanks for being our Patreon patron. And XOXO Gossip Girl. So thanks, Lucky Angie. You're the best. If you want to get a shout out, join our Patreon, patreon.com/loreboys. There's a link in the description, you fool. Peter's not here. Elephant in the room. He didn't wear an orange hat and a black shirt, so we did kill him.
Yep.
And
No
if he turns
time.
up dead, I'm gonna feel bad about that joke, but you know,
He died from
roll
a
with it.
headache in his 30s. That'd be pretty rough.
Yeah, that would be. We're gonna talk about Slay the Spire today because Slay the Spire 2 came out in early access, and it's good. I think it's safe to say it's very, very good. We like it. I played a ton of the first one, but my Steam stats wouldn't let you know because I played mostly on mobile, Android, but I can't do that yet because it's not available yet. What's your experience with Slay the Spire, Jimmy?
Played a good amount of the first one, like 60 hours. I was never very good at it. I think I also left it on like while playing WoW and stuff, so it's like kind of inflated my hours.
Inflated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look
But
up Jamie Loreboy's inflation to learn more.
but I've made it to the end like a few times, but I didn't like play enough that like I know there's more story after you beat it a certain amount of times or something, or you have to like. You were mentioning
How
the
far did you
last
get?
time I got to the end, like 3 floors, but and it hit a
Oh, so
few
you didn't
times.
get to the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know what the real end is.
Well, okay, so we'll talk about it. Um,
And the new
yeah,
one
I
I
played it
played a
more than
couple.
that.
I played a couple, 2, 3 runs on
It
the new one. Yeah.
is, yeah, it is a rogue-like deck builder, I think is what you would call it. You start with a class. There's 4 characters in the first one. There's 5 in the second one. You pick a character, and then you start with 10 cards in your deck. And then anytime you beat an enemy, you can choose to add a card, one of 3 cards you get prompted with. They're random. Every single run is random. The routes are randomized, and you try and get as high as you can by building an efficient and effective deck
It was
while you're at it.
like as far as the roguelike genre goes, it was so defining. Like when that
Yeah.
one came out, every roguelike for a while just had the same Slay the Spire map, like having to decide between 1 to 3 places that you go next, or 1 to 2 places you go next, and like tracing your way up, and then like the upgrades being at the end of every battle. Like I could think of like Peglin just redid it basically. A bunch of other games just redid it until Balatro came out, and then Balatro became kind of the new the new like template, right? Is like just go through rounds and have upgrades in between there. Like if I think of like Clover Pit or something like that, it's like very Balatro inspired. So yeah, Slay the Spire just like so genre defining.
Yeah, so I don't remember. I did post a picture for the patrons. We'll post it in Discord as well of what the map looks like as you go up. So you basically it's a scroll, and at the bottom there's like a bunch of little. There's maybe like 2 to 4 little minion heads, and then from those there's dotted lines that go up to either another minion head, a bag of money, which is a shop, a question mark, which is a random event, or a minion head with horns, which is an elite fight, basically, right?
Yeah.
And so what you're trying to do typically is fight as many elites as you can to get to the act boss. There's 3 acts in it. Well, there's 4 acts, but we'll talk about it. To get through the 3 acts, to get to the act boss, you want to fight as many elites as you can, stopping at bonfires on the way to regain your health or upgrade cards as much as possible. And that's it. Extremely simple, but I think extremely effective. The cards, each class has like a very unique, or each character has a very unique identity, I feel like, in the way that they play. They have unique mechanics, each of them. And you collect these things called relics, which just like power up your runs. Each one of them starts with their own relic, right? Where the Ironclad, they heal at the end of a fight. The Silent, they draw extra cards at the start of the fight. I'll post pictures of all 4 of the characters here. So I've listed 2 of them, Jamie. Do you know the names? So actually, now that you mentioned, did you ever play the 4th character?
Um, I don't think the fourth. I've played the Ironclad, the Silent, the Conjurer, and I don't think I played the fourth. Yeah,
Yes, it's the Ironclad, the Silent, the Defect.
the Defect. Okay,
Is the robot looking one. So the Ironclad's a warrior class. The Silent is kind of a rogue class. The Defect is a robot class. Your classic D&D party, right?
I remember
And then
the Defect was like
uh,
you had different elements you were kind of cycling through. Like you would build up a lot of
yeah,
one element to dump another one and stuff like that.
yeah.
But yeah,
Basically, you start with 3 orb slots. They're called above your head, and you put you put like electric in there or lightning. You put frost. You put dark,
right.
plasma. I think that was all the ones in the first game. There's glass in the new game as well.
Whoa.
But yeah, so you choose one of those, and then you play through. The beginning of each run at the start of the tower, you'd be resurrected. Your character would be resurrected if they failed on their last one by the Mother of Resurrection, who is named Meow, like meow, but with an N instead of an M. And I apologize, I have a stuffed nose, so those might have sounded identical. I don't know, you know. But a big blue 3 or 6-eyed whale, I think, was just kind of chilling at the bottom of this spire, right?
I'm glad that you're finally doing this because I'm remembering I've taken a couple shots at trying to get an episode together back when we only had Slay the Spire 1, and this whale of resurrection was important in Slay the Spire 1.
Can I tell you we're at the end of the lore for Slay the Spire 1. Like
Okay, that's why.
there is none basically. So all of it is going to come from in 2 they've fleshed out everything. They've given us a full timeline and all that. We'll talk about it,
Cool.
but like there's really really very little. I don't know how much was actually known in 1 and like where people got it from. I also like looked at it a couple times and there just wasn't enough meat there for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, three acts. Act 1 in the first one was the Exordium. Act 2 was the city. Act 3 was the Beyond. So the Watcher, the class that you've never played, you have to beat the Spire. You have to beat all 3 acts with the first 3 characters to unlock them. So then you unlock the Watcher, and you'll also unlock the keys. So and ascensions. So once you start ascending on runs, there will be one elite that has like flames on it, and you have on each floor, and you have to fight at least one of those elites and win, and you get the green key, I think. At a bonfire, you have to like not use bonfires. You can heal or you can upgrade a card. Once you've unlocked the keys, there's a third option, which is to forge a key. So you basically lose a bonfire, but you forge a key. And then the last one is same thing with the chest. When you open chests, you can choose to take a key instead of a relic, which doesn't power you up at all. So you're just sacrificing a relic. If you get all 3 keys, beat the Act 3 boss, you unlocked Act 4, which is known as the ending, where you fight the final boss of Slay the Spire, which is the Corrupted Heart. So
Right.
Act 4 is always the same 4 locations on the map. So you start at the bottom. It is a bonfire. It is a shop. It is an elite fight against the same elite every single time, which is these 2. You got a guy with a spear and a guy with a shield, and they stand on either side of you, which is, I think, unique in Slay the Spire. Like, I think that fight is the first fight that does it, or maybe the only fight that does it in Slay the Spire 1. Where like the last one you attack, you face in their direction. So if they hit your back, they do double damage. So you have to like coordinate where your last attack goes.
Okay.
And then you fight the heart, which is the heart starts with something called Beat of Death, which is anytime you play a card, you take 1 damage. And then it will, like, as the fight goes on, it'll increase that. So every time you play 2 cards, or every time you play a card, you take 2 damage, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's really like the lore. Like, there's definitely some like filling in the gaps you could do there. When Meow resurrects you, she would always say like "Rise, champion," and like be clearly sending you to fight the heart and fight the things at the top of the tower. When you got to the end of Act 3, when you beat whatever the Act 3 boss was, you would damage the heart too before you unlock it. So I don't know if the Corrupted Heart was always in the game or if this was like added later. I don't know if Slay the Spire 1 launched in early access or anything like that. But I could say most of the time that I played, it has been against the Corrupted Heart has been kind
Yeah.
of the final boss.
Yeah, I'd like to actually come back to it. Now that you mention it, I didn't know. I thought like with most games like Expedition 33, I get to a point like that must be the end, and then just give up on
I
it.
didn't get there, but that must be it.
Yeah, exactly. I think I beat it with the Ironclad and the Silent. I remember having a disgusting run with the Silent where I just had like combos after combos. But the third one, the robot,
The
the defect, that's where I stopped. Is like I had a few runs with a defect, and I never just like got it going, and then I think I stopped playing around there. So I was close to getting the fourth. I should go back and play.
Defect is the hardest, I think, for sure. Of the four, I would say the Watchers is really cool. They basically their like unique mechanic is they have stances, so they have like calm, which is I think you gain. I can't remember. I think you gain energy. No, sorry. When you're in calm, it doesn't do anything. But when you go from calm to wrath, is their other stance. Then you gain some energy, and then in wrath you deal double damage, but you take double damage.
Okay.
So it's all about like timing your stance changes, and like you have cards which say like enter calm or enter wrath. There's also another one which is like divine or something like that, which is like just positive, but it's really hard to get to.
Yeah.
But anyway, not important. These are all gameplay mechanics. Sorry for the lore fans in the audience. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes we like talking about video games. All right.
I think like something that's cool too, like while we're here not in the fully in the lore of the universe, is while they're making Slay the Spire 2, they were running it on the Unity engine, and Unity like came out and said, hey, we're gonna put like these fees basically that would just hurt all these indie devs, and in an act of unity to all the other devs, they pulled out. They just remade their own engine basically. I forget the name of it, but
Gadot.
Gal
Gadot. Yeah.
Yeah. So they lost like all this money in progress in dev time just to be the good guys and say fuck you to the corpo overlords. So another point for Slay the Spire, and they make good games. So
wait a minute, base developers? What the hell?
Yep.
Yeah. So Slay the Spire 2, we have an official timeline. We have official lore. You unlock it as you progress. So the gameplay unlocks that you get in the game to like unlock new cards that you can get on future runs, to unlock new relics or new potions that you can get on future runs. You unlock these timeline events basically. The game still is in early access. No idea when it plans on leaving early access. Obviously, no idea what the scope of post early access looks like for them. This episode will represent all the lore available in game at time of recording. There's at least 2 timeline entries, so I've unlocked all of them. I've completed the timeline. I've got all unlocks in Slay the Spire 2. Is my credentials. I'm up to like Ascension 5 or something. So I'm not pro gaming out here. Okay, I haven't taken the time to do that because Satisfactory Factory's got to get built. Okay, but there's at least a few timeline entries which are marked as early. Like this is early access. It'll be revealed once the game leaves early access. Most of the art on the timeline right now is placeholder. I find the placeholder art extremely charming, and part of me wishes that they would leave it that way, at least for some of the entries. Some of them are rougher than others for sure, but some of them are very cute, including our first timeline. The very first point in the timeline, I posted a picture of you, Jamie, of the placeholder art, which I think is very nice. It's just a sun with a comet orbiting it, and then clearly like the orbit of a planet sketched out around it.
Yeah, looks like what you would imagine if you thought of an atom in your head. It's
exactly.
It's got a thing in the middle and little things flying around it.
Yeah. So here's a quote. Here's a quote from the timeline. A void of nothingness. But then the world came into existence. It churned about and molded itself into that which tells stories. Along this journey lay a planet named Prion, a mere speck in this universe. They say that a great story about a spire took place there. On this quiet planet, beasts of imagination began to dot the world. They roamed the lands in this time of simple, gleeful violence. Countless ways to kill, to feed, and proliferate are suggested. Colonies, hives, groups, and schools ebb and flow into the nooks and crannies of Prion. So you know me, I love me a creation myth, right? This one just kind of, it's a planet. It just kind of appeared one day, and then animals appeared one day. Wouldn't you freaking know it?
Yeah, I like what they called, what it was, beasts of imagination?
Beasts of imagination, capital B, capital I. Yeah. So there is like a specific to them, and we'll see this a lot in this lore, at least so far. I hope and assume that like we'll never figure out what specifically a beast of imagination is, but like a lot of the enemies in Slay the Spire are just like they're like beasts of imagination. They're like somebody like a kid kind of dreamt up a critter, if you will, right? A crow worshiper or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I'd like you have beasts of burden, so that's like a horse who has to do work for us, and then beasts of imagination. Those are ones who think up stories, or whales that send adventurers up a spire, right? The
Yeah.
ones that can talk, I
So
think.
that's it. I don't know how big the umbrella is. We're gonna say the whale is not a beast of imagination. The whale is gonna be something else specifically. We will get into specifically what Meow, the whale is. That what they are, again, it might be like the, Animalia, Mammalia, Giraffea, Ethania, whatever, like tree. So they might, like, Beast of Imagination might just be a higher level, and maybe what Meow is also this thing. It'll happen a few times, like we're going to talk about when we talk about the Ironclad. We'll talk about the Ironclad's clan, and then we'll talk about some other clans. I assume we're never going to get any more information about other clans in the world. You know what I mean? We're not going to get that level of detail, but
I would think like a beast of imagination, like it means sentient in a way, right? Like if you know you exist and you can imagine something happening in the future, then you're a beast of imagination. More than like, does a fly imagine the pile of poop he's gonna get to before he lands on it? I don't know. I don't think so.
doesn't have to imagine in my place. Tell you that much. Okay. I got lots of poop around.
This guy loves
so
poop.
I wouldn't say I love it. I've hired a very many flies to come take care of it for me, get it off my hands. Okay, I have problems with it, sure. So the world is created. Whatever a beast of imagination is, we got the thinking man's dinosaur running amok on the planet Prion. Okay,
Got it.
Here's another quote. Too many beasts of imagination began to populate Prion, and things aren't simple and fun anymore. The creatures didn't make sense. The monsters didn't follow logic. Maybe there needs to be one which can create, destroy, and control this mess, an entity with its own imagination and will. Let's imagine such a being. Now, couple things, okay? I'm going to read I'm going to be like an English teacher and read way too much into what's being written here. Let's imagine such a being. Imagine is capitalized in here. Their game is early access. I don't think the timeline is what they spent most of their time reviewing, because I did see at least a couple spelling mistakes in there. But I like to think Imagine is capitalized. It feels like these entries are written by someone who's kind of like telling the story, right? So it kind of feels like an unreliable narrator to me. So I wanted to jump into that quote because of what you were saying, Jamie. Feels like Beasts of Imagination might be how this person is describing them. And I don't know if this person created the world, if they are just kind of like observing and like recording the history of it. But they are saying, let's capital I imagine a being that can create, destroy, and control all these beasts and the mess that is the world of Prion.
Yeah, I like that. I by the way, I did go to English class with Ethan, and he was one of the most outspoken and often right, like knew what the English teacher was gonna say before she said it. Like, well, because they're a capital I, whatever. So Ethan, you're usually got good. You're good at this.
It's just basic, okay?
No, not
Mr.
everyone.
Mr. Steinbeck, you're basic, okay? the truck driver shoos a bee away, and then Tom Joad crushes a grasshopper. Yeah, that's a real head scratcher to figure out what kind of symbolism that is. Am I right?
Yeah, when we were reading the Grapes of Wrath, I was just like, when do we get to the part where he drinks the tit milk? Can't wait till that part.
Come on. Yeah. I'm dying over here. I've been doing my own research. You know? They're always saying, teachers are always saying, do your own research. Don't trust the experts. Do your own research.
Yeah, look, so you have a fuller picture than I do. But when I hear that, like this narrator is like, okay, our world is a world of stories, right? So it's like a world of like narratives. And when he says like, let's imagine, it sounds like the narrator is our true god in this universe. and is imagining, is creating something like, oh, these flies are running amok because they all have different interests in the poop, and now we need a whale to manage the flies, right? And so I capital I imagine I'm going to create another level of hierarchy to manage this
because
imagination. Yeah.
there's the world folded itself into that which tells stories in quotations. So yeah, I do think that either this is a character retelling like what the world of Prion is experiencing, but I do think like the world is sentient and is creating these beasts of like the beasts that populate beasts of imagination are this world's imagination is just like thinking up beasts, and they are now all over its outside basically. And then it says like, hey, the beasts are getting out of control. They're too populous, and I can't unimagine them. So we need something or someone to come and maintain order. Let's imagine that person is dead, right?
Yeah. There's too many beasts just imagining 3 cards that I can't play into my hand. Like we got to get rid of these fucking things, man.
And cards defeat beasts, and then you gotta imagine some poker players to get rid of the cards, and then you gotta imagine some deodorant to get rid of the card players, and then you gotta keep going like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? Fun new capital I imagine, right?
It sure is.
So the beasts of Prion are going to numerous. That's what we know, and in order to control them, the architect is created. Okay, so you know who the architect is. You met him, Jamie.
Is that who you meet at the end of a run?
Yeah, so far he's the final boss of Slay the Spire 2. So how Slay the Spire 1 worked, as a reminder, was you'd climb all the floors, you'd fight the Act 3 boss, and then you would see the heart. You would deal damage to the heart. It would tell you how much damage you've dealt to the heart in total. And then it would tell you how, I don't remember if the first one actually told you how much damage, like everyone, it has like a global tally of how much damage has been done to the heart. Slay the Spire 2, same thing. You beat the Act 3 boss. Instead of seeing the heart, you go see the architect. You deal damage to him. He gives you some voice lines, whereas a heart can't say nothing except "I love you," and so he'll say something that usually has to do with your character, like specific to them, and then you deal damage to him, and then he kills you. Then he lightning bolts you, and you die, which was the same in the first one. In the first one, once you've unlocked like Ascending and Act 4, then you can get past the heart, right? You put these keys in, and then you fight the corrupted heart. I assume after post early access, there will be a post architect boss. You fight the architect in a battle or something like that, or maybe not. Maybe you find out he's actually not that bad, and you have to fight somebody else. Okay. And we can speculate on who that might be when we get there. But so far, he's the final boss, the architect. He was created towards the beginning of time when we just had these beasts of imagination, not necessarily super intelligent beasts is the vibe that I get. Is more they're just like they're beasts that have been imagined.
Okay.
At the same time that the architect is being imagined, so like this figure, the architect is again a figure who's like the beasts of the world are running amok. I need someone to like control every tiger. You know what I mean? Jamie, your new job, get every shark under control. You know what I mean? That's a big task. You're going to need to be, I would need to imagine you much more impressive than you are, if I'm perfectly honest.
All right.
But obviously pretty ancient, right? Like this would be before any civilizations could be made in this kind of world. And around the same time, I don't know, we don't know exactly how the timeline works. It doesn't have like years on it. It just has dots, and then every so often you'll get a random arcane symbol that doesn't mean anything to anyone on the timeline.
Makes sense.
And it is like a left to right timeline, but they stack. So sometimes entries will stack. So sometimes entries will be on like the same dot. So when I say at the same time, I mean in the same column. But at the same time that the architect is being imagined, in a place known as the Foglands, a young girl embarks on a hunt. Her and her people have been stalked by tormented souls, whatever those are, and she ends up taking down a great spirit which has been plaguing her people. So she goes on a hunt, and she hunts down this great spirit. She kills the spirit, and the sisters of her tribe take the skull of the beast and perform a ritual, placing it atop her head. She would come to be known as the Silent. So the first playable character in the game. The Silent, she wears a green robe, and she wears a big skull on her head. She doesn't say anything, hence the Silent. She just still does say something at this point. There is an entry, which I did include in Slay the Spire 2, that talks about when she kind of like gives it up, and she's like, to speak is to be weak, and I'm not going to do that anymore. But she was just a little girl. She took down a great big monster, and the sisters of her tribe put the monster head on her head and say, "Great job. Should probably stop talking now."
Okay, we got silent lore.
Exactly. So created around the same time as the Architect, which is we don't know how long ago, like I say, but long enough ago, that's for sure. This is the Silent comes from a time before the Ancients, because we're going to talk about the creation of the Ancients in a second here. So the Architect is created to shepherd the growth of the beasts of Prion and takes to it with aplomb. They are obsessed with the flora and fauna of the world and spend decades researching and refining the flora and fauna. So they are shaping the creatures in some way. They would eventually create what is described as their penultimate creation, the ancient seeds. Capital A, capital S, right? He nutted, I guess you could say. Excuse me. Some of these seeds are deemed failures by the ancient right off the rip. They're placed in a heavy coffer and thrown into the bottom of the ocean. I only mention that because it's in the timeline, and I can't figure out why that's relevant now, but it's maybe interesting to think of why it might be relevant in the future. Post early access, we'll see. These ancient seeds produce, wouldn't you know it, ancient trees.
Were they ancient at the time, or?
I mean, that's a great question. That's the kind of question you find in a fortune cookie. Have you ever thought about writing fortune cookie questions, Jamie?
No, I haven't. My handwriting is much too big.
Those little slips of paper. There's nothing I can do.
Just fold a whole loose leaf into a cookie.
So ancient trees are sprout from these ancient seeds, which are placed throughout the world. They're not all the same, right? Like some of them are very tall, some of them are very short. We don't get too much descriptor about them, but you close your mind and picture ancient tree in a fantasy setting, and you're there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
For each of them, though, one thing that is the same about each of them is that once they fully mature, a manifestation of immense power is born within them, what we will call an ancient. Okay? So of all these ancients, we know that at least one of them grows jealous of the power wielded by the Architect.
Okay, so canonically in Earth, sharks are older than trees.
Yeah.
But
so they're beasts of imagination.
But in Slay the Spire, I'm gonna guess trees are older than whales, because whale is gonna be our first.
Trees are older than whales.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the tree made the whale. Meow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's a quote. One of the many ancients, Niao, grew jealous of the awe-inspiring will of the Architect. She confided with a like-minded sibling, and together they created a most potent concoction, the Blight. Okay, so I say at least one of them. I guess I should have said at least two of them, because Niao and one other ancient do conspire to try and take the power from the Architect by creating something called the Blight.
That might corrupt a heart or two.
Might corrupt the heart or two. You never know. You never know, huh?
Yeah.
Around this time, when Niao, the ancient whale, is devising up a poison, we have another character who enters the fray. This is a mortal of Prion. They're battling in a centuries-long conflict.
A whale trying to make a poison is really funny. Like just the little the flaps, and just trying to use like an Erlenmeyer flask or whatever.
Yeah. Like trying to pour in there underwater, so it's just like clouding up into the. They keep like, oh, God, my eyes, it stings. So we have a mortal who's battling in a centuries-long conflict. The people known as the Ironclads have warred with another tribe called the Valley Guard. Do you want to take a guess at which character we're going to be talking about? That's right, the Watcher. The Ironclad. This is obviously the Ironclad, right? So we have a young warrior who's trying to end this centuries-long conflict that they've been in. They want to become the greater warrior. They want to do it for fame. They want to do it for glory. You know, this young Ironclad is approached by a great demon And then what do you do when a demon approaches you, huh? You enter
Uh,
into a pact, of course.
shake hands.
Shake hands.
Yep.
Shake hands if you can. So he enters into this deal with this demon in order to defeat the Valley Guard, this other tribe, basically.
Right.
Okay. So here's the quote. The ironclad's strength surges. The flames of the demonic pact course through his blood. Cuts and bruises heal rapidly. The Valley Guard are cleaved in two. The desert tribe are burned to a crisp. Windwalkers smashed into the ground, and even a familiar horde of aggressive bronze-cladded warriors are set ablaze with these exciting new flames. Kills his own tribe, kills everyone, kills all the tribes basically. And this is what I was saying before. I don't think we're ever going to get any more information about who the fuck the Valley Guard or the Windwalkers are, right? But he kills them all. He leaves none spared with the power of fire. So I did post a picture of the Ironclad. The Ironclad does have some flame aesthetics to them, and one of the like rare cards you could get even in the first one was you can get it in the second one as well. It's like a power card, which it just increases your strength every turn, and I think it's called Demon Strength or something like that. So like thematically, this is where all the Ironclad's powers are coming from. Their ability to be stronger is. The Silent went to all the trouble of hunting a great spirit and putting this skull on her head to become stronger. Okay.
Oh, that's
this
cool.
Guy did nothing but shake hands.
With the Ironclad too, like his thing is he heals himself at the end of each battle or at the start of each battle. Either way, and at the end of each battle. So it's like demon fire that's just like cauterizing his own wounds after he's been taking all the licks. That's cool.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. If it's called like Demon Blood or something. Ironclad Slay the Spire starting relic. But yeah, I mean a lot of his cards also involve it's called Burning Blood.
Burning Blood, okay.
Yeah, so it is like the flames of the demonic pact is how it's described, like he's burning people up as well. A lot of his cards, like he heals himself at the end of battle, but a lot of his cards like cost health to play as well.
Yeah.
It's like lose 2 HP and do this thing.
It's like a newer player, like it makes sense why they put him as the first character to play as, because most of the time you just get your block up to enough that you won't take damage for the most part and hit him. And then hit the guy.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to pilot that guy. A lot of fun though.
Definitely my best. Like I got him to Ascension. I think I got to Ascension 16 or 17 in Slay the Spire 1, and
Nice.
with him, I think the Silent I had right behind, and then I think like Defect I had like Ascension 8, and then the Watcher I had probably like Ascension 10 or something like that. I could look, but I'm not gonna open my phone right now.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna look.
There's like ways to get infinite combos and stuff too by keeping like really lean decks and like just getting a certain amount of cards. But I never quite got anything like that. I just got
even that though. Like it's such a well designed game because you can go infinite. Like you can. I don't know if I've ever. I think I have fully gone infinite or at least very close to it where I'm playing like 30 cards a turn or something like that.
Yeah.
But they do a good job of putting the right enemies in your way. Where like one of the Act 3 bosses is every time you play 11 cards, it ends your turn, right? And the corrupted heart, the Act 4 boss has the Beat of Death, which deals damage to you every time you play a card. So if you just have these like very low damage decks, which rely on you having like 30-40 card turns, like you'll kill yourself before you kill it, basically.
Yeah. No, it's nice that they put a mix of things too. It's like, okay, you have a really lean deck. Well, now you are vulnerable to these cards that, like, there's bosses who put cards into your deck, right? So if they put 3 things into your deck, all of a sudden half of your deck is unplayable cards.
Exactly.
But then there's other things that just like have really high health pools, so you have to be able to actually burn your way through it, and like, there's no one deck solves everything.
No, exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna run into problems no matter what.
Yeah. So while the Ironclad is busy killing his own tribe, his own family, Niao, the whale, invites the architect over to her tree and offers him a gift of some tea. Right. This is poison tea, of course. Right. The architect, I guess, has been complaining of poor sleep they need a sleep apnea machine, but nobody's sleep apnea machines of imagination haven't been dreamt up yet. So Niao offers the architect some tea and says, "Hey, this will help you sleep," which it does. He falls into a coma, basically.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately, poison doesn't stop there. If you poison somebody into a coma, you better be prepared for some fallout, let me tell you, okay? Here's the quote. The blight takes hold of the comatose architect and its poison amplifies. It forms a symbiotic relationship with Niao's tree, and it hungered to grow and grow. The other ancients capture the culprit as the blight ravages the land. They imprison Niao and take shelter from the now unstoppable blight. So we do have there's a lot of ancients, right? And you, as far as I can remember, did not meet any of them in Slay the Spire 1. You meet a lot of them in Slay the Spire 2. Slay the Spire 1, when you beat an act boss, you would get your regular combat rewards, which was you get gold, maybe a potion, and then you get a card reward. When you beat an act boss, you always get a rare card. So you get a choice of 3 rare cards. And then you would open a chest, and the chest would have a boss relic in it, basically.
Yeah.
In Slay the Spire 2, you get your card rewards, and then you go talk to an ancient, and the ancient gives you a reward, basically. So
Okay.
all the figures that you meet after acts are ancients. So we know some of them. One of them is like a scarecrow. One of them
Yeah.
is like a dragon, and then there's of course Babe. I mean the greatest of them all, no new peepee. And I posted a picture of her, and I mean I think it's pretty evident why she's the greatest of them, because she's she's a babe. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
big and green. That's why I like them. I have a thing for Shrek. And Shrek
she's
cosplay.
she's got purple hair. She's got a big old horn on her head, a little coy smile, hidden eyes behind her bangs. There's 4 servants just like tripping over themselves in the air to offer things to her. And I get it. And no new PP is a great name. Only old PP.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Only old PP. That's what
Yeah.
I'm about. Anyway, so we know that like of these ancients, we don't know which ones specifically. We don't know how many there were at any time or whatever. But they captured Niao and they imprisoned her for like what she's done, because like making the architect comatose is one thing, but she's unleashed this like blight upon the world, right? We don't know much about what the blight is specifically. It is some terrible thing though, and the ancients flee from it. Like they imprison Yao, and then most of them leave. They go into hiding. That's why you don't see them in the first one. Basically, it kills any that come into contact with it, and it poisons the land itself. So the quote continues: "Their roots no longer able to draw nourishment from Prion, the ancient trees began to wither and die. The once beautiful forests surrender to the weight of eternity. Even Niao's tree loses its branches and lush foliage. The last tree is no tree at all. They give it a name." You want to take a crack at what the name is?
Slay the Spire 2.
Just the spire.
Okay.
But yeah, so the spire is Niao's tree. It loses all its branches because of the blight, and becomes the spire. So when you're climbing the spire to slay it, climbing a tree, you're just a little tree climber, basically. Like I said, at its top sits a heart. Whose heart? Not entirely known. It looks to be like Niao's heart, right? More than the architect's, given it's bigger than the architect, at least in any frame of references that we've been given. It does sit at the top of Niao's tree as well.
Same skin tone, like
yeah, exactly.
The color,
it's very gray and blue. Yeah. So Lore Boys canon. This might be official canon in a tweet or something somewhere, but Lore Boys canon is it is Niao's heart. Niao has found a way to at least keep herself alive, but so close to the blight, because she's imprisoned in her tree, right, where we know the blight is. All the other ancients flee. They run away from the tree to hide. So I'm going to say she surrenders her heart in order to save herself. Like the corruption takes her heart, but she takes it out of her body to kind of protect herself from it. She is also the mother of resurrection, is like one of her titles, and she does resurrect you, the player. So she clearly has some control over life and death. I don't know what other powers like the other ones have. Clearly, no new PP has the power of horny on her side, right? And the scarecrow maybe is like the power of fire, things like that. But yeah, So and then seals the heart, right? The heart is sealed behind this door with 3 keys, a red key, a blue key, and a green key that you have to get all the keys in order to fight the corrupted heart at the end of the game. And Niao just keeps resurrecting you, the player, as whatever champion you've chosen to go to the top and try and kill the heart, basically. Whether that's kill the blight that's in the heart, affect the heart in some way. We don't really know, but
Okay.
Niao's doing it.
Cool.
That's the Spire. We figured out what the Spire is, at least.
Wow.
The Ironclad and the Silent at some point both enter the Spire, right? The Ironclad is driven by pure instinct and accursed blood, it's described. It's probably the pact they made with the Demon King, right? Like, I'll give you this power in terms for this. I get to curse your blood. The curse on the blood was you're going to be driven to go climb the Spire, and you're just going to be ceaselessly. You're going to be obsessed with it, basically, right? The Silent, for her part, enters the Spire looking for more trophies, so she's become a very prolific hunter, and she just continues to hunt, and she looks for bigger and bigger trophies. Ever since that ritual was performed with the skulls, head on head, makes you bloodthirsty, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah, this is where the events of Slay the Spire 1 take place. At least so far, like I said, we have no mention of the Watcher. We did like the Defect also kind of doesn't get much story before, like for Slay the Spire 1. They kind of just wake up one day, they go to the top of the Spire, and then when Slay the Spire 1 events wrap up, they make their way to a scrapyard. We get a bit more detail about them for Slay the Spire 2. I didn't include it because it's not really relevant to like the bigger picture. It's kind of just character story.
Okay.
So no creation story for the Defect, really. They kind of just like go to the Spire one day. They wake up and they go. The Silent climbs the Spire, takes a piece of the corrupted heart as a trophy, leaving with the prize in her hand and returning to her sisters. The Defect kills the heart but sustains critical damage. So like I said, they venture for a place called the Scrapyard for evaluation. But when the Ironclad gets to the top and slays the heart, the demon's contract ignites, absorbing the corruption of the blight into itself. So here's the quote. Immediately, the warrior and blight are set ablaze. The parasite is drawn into the flame, its writhing form consumed like wax wicking into a fire. The blight stopped consuming. The ground, dry and brittle, begins to moisten. The clouds around the Spire douse the lands. The sunlight pierces through newly formed cracks in the clouds. It has been done. Someone had slain the Spire. Slain 3 times? I don't know. But canonically, it was slain 3 times. There's 3 characters, 3 colors to the keys.
Makes sense.
I don't know exactly how that works, but the heart at the top of the Spire, the corrupted heart, the blight was absorbed, at least by the Ironclad, and this demonic contract they have. When that happens, when the blight is absorbed, somewhere in the world, the architect wakes up. But more on that after we take a nap. Welcome back. I hope that good and or service is appealing to you. We were talking about Slay the Spire and a sleepy little guy named the Architect, but we're going to jump away from him for a second, okay? All you need to know is he's still waking up from his nap. Somewhere in the universe, far away from Prion, a king of a people known as the Starians decides that he is a special little boy, and that he decides, to venture out into the cosmos with the express purpose of telling others just how special he is. Okay? So this would be the Regent. I put that in the wrong chat, but you can figure it out, I'm sure. I'll put it in the right chat for our video editor, of course. I would never do him dirty like that. So this is one of the playable characters in Slay the Spire 2, one of the new characters. Very fun character to play, I would say. The 2 new characters are, I don't know if they're just so much more fun because they learned a lot from Slay the Spire 1 and designed them to be more engaging, or if it's just, hey, they're new in this game that I love, and so that's why I love them. But the 2 new characters are so enjoyable to play.
This is my last run. I did the Regent because I think I've done 3 runs, because you play 1 run, you unlock the next guy, right? So
yeah,
I think I just played the Regent last, which is pretty fun because he has 2 different types of, like, he has like this star mana, and then he has the actual mana that you use, right?
Exactly. His cards have 2 costs, so he has a lot of like 0 cost cards which have like an alternate cost, which is like this stars, basically.
Yeah.
Stars
so there's like cards that you can cost for, like, you can do star generation and then use the stars to get your mana back, and it's like a lot of playing back and forth, but ends up feeling really fun because it just feels like you have like double the mana in some ways. Like instead of starting with 3, you kind of have 6, and you
Yeah.
can just really like unload a lot, especially turn 1.
If you, I don't know if it also they also feel like both the regent and the other new character both feel overtuned to me, at least to like just pick up. They both feel like incredibly strong, like they have incredibly strong runs. Maybe I just haven't found their weaknesses yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm like over indexing on what I think was working from the first one, and with like the old characters, and with these ones
That's
I'm like thinking more critically whenever I'm playing now. I don't know.
it's so hard like to in the moment. Like I think it's gonna be a couple months until we can look back and do any meaningful kind of like comparison to 1 and 2, because like even watching like Northern Lion play through it, he's like, I don't know if this game is harder or I just played the first one 1,000 times so I knew what to expect at every turn, and I just am
Yeah.
learning now, right, at a certain point. So yeah, it's hard to compare in the moment, but
No,
it's
for
very
sure. It
fun
is
either way. Yeah.
for anyone who played Slay the Spire 1 and hasn't played Slay the Spire 2 yet. Very similar. Like it is putting on an old shoe. Like it feels comfortable. It's what I want from a sequel a lot of the time, which is like the same game with a bit more to it, right?
Yeah.
Feels very good.
Very much
So
so.
we have this guy, the Regent. He's from a distant planet. He leads a race of people known as the Starians, and he travels throughout the universe with the express intent of saying, like, I'm awesome, and I need to go to other planets. We need to develop a spaceship so I can go to other planets and tell people how special I am.
Yeah. He
And he
sits
travels through space.
he sits cross-legged in a throne while he's fighting at all times. Like
Yeah,
he never gets up. Your throne is with you in every fight, which I
yeah.
love.
It's
Yeah.
you get a floating throne to go around, and it's that pose, kind of this relaxed, regal, very regal pose, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and so he comes across Prion, right? Of course. Uh, on the planet's surface, he sees societies and cultures from around the world. They are now making pilgrimages to the Spire, right? The Spire, after the blight was removed from it, has become this like place of safety and a place of culture, I guess. A lot of people revere it, so like I said, they're making pilgrimages to it. It becomes a trading hub of the world. It's just called the capital in the lore. So this metropolis, the capital, begins to form at the base of the spire. And I have another picture for you here. This is another one of the placeholder images, which I find extremely charming, and I just really like. There's also a defect one which I didn't include, which is just phenomenal. But yeah,
This
some
yeah,
of them are really funny.
it's like very obviously like made in like paint or something like
Yeah.
that, or like a notepad like drawing app or something.
Mhm.
It's very
Yeah,
crude, but
it's clearly the idea of what it's supposed to look like. The final version is supposed to look like was sketched out there, but it's very much
yeah.
a sketch, right? A digital sketch. Um, Nowadays, atop the spire, there burns a violet flame. Okay. And you see a little bit of it in the placeholder right there. That's not a placeholder pink, but the lasting remnant of the Ironclad's defeat of the corrupted heart. This seems to be what's keeping the blight at bay, as far as anyone can tell. This like violet flame, which was the Ironclad. They were fiery boy. They consumed the blight. Their fire became purple, and now it remains at the top of the tower. Basically, not that the Ironclad's there. The Ironclad did leave, but the flame at the top of the tower is purple at least. The Silent has since returned to her sisters, but they are less impressed by the trophy she brings. She brought a piece of the heart with her after she killed it. Here's the quote. A sickness carrying a familiar scent courses through the Silent's veins. The heart piece is slowly killing her. The grotesque trophy is hurled into the ocean, but the blight has no cure. She will die soon. Now, she has a piece of the corrupted heart which she took away from where she took before the Ironclad defeated it, right? I think it's safe to say canonically the Ironclad was the last to defeat it. She defeated it, took a piece of the heart, it resurrected, being the mother of resurrection's heart, with the blight still in it, and then the Ironclad came and defeated it. So she has the blight in her hand. It poisons
Oh.
her and she gets sick, right? When she goes home, say, hey sisters, look at this. I have this cool thing called plutonium that I brought from the big city when I went on my trip.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a gift of just a bunch of blankets and stuff for you.
yeah, exactly. Um, so she's dying. And what I thought was interesting when I was reading these timeline entries is they throw it into the ocean. Do you remember something else that was thrown into the ocean?
The ring at the
Well,
end of Titanic. Rose throws it in.
I believe it was a necklace, but yes, the heart of the ocean, Le Coeur de la Mer, was thrown into the ocean
Yeah.
by that bitch Rose. Fucking, he was right there. He just wanted it, Bill Paxton. Um, you didn't have to do that, Rose. Bill Paxton, the guy he's a, I get it. We don't all like celebrities here, but he seems like one of the good ones. Why couldn't Rose from Titanic just give Bill Paxton, the human, the heart, Le Coeur de la Mer?
Rose caught a lot of flack. She didn't move over on the door to give room for Jack. She threw it into the bottom of the ocean.
I'll say, not to suddenly jump to Rose's defense here, but like how big the door is has nothing to do with how buoyant it is. Okay, so like,
Yeah,
that is a criticism of that movie, which has never made sense to me. Like, well, there was room on the door, yeah, but would it have sunk if he got on
Yeah.
it? Like, could it carry 2 people?
there was
Nothing-
room
one-
on the
nothing to do with
Titanic
something.
too. It was at the bottom of the ocean. No.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a fat lot of good that would have done, Jack. Huh? So no, but the ancient seeds, the failed seeds, which the architect had made, ended up at the bottom of the ocean as well. So we know nothing yet, but I suspect something will come of the fact that ancient seeds were thrown down there. We have ancient underwater trees, and now we're gonna have blighted ancient underwater trees, right? Maybe that's a Slay the Spire 3 thing. I don't know. Give it another 7 years, and we'll find out.
Oh, that would be interesting if you had like alternate starting points, right? Like instead of there just being an Act 4, if they're like, do you want to go up the normal spire or do you want to go up the underwater blight spire? And there's a bunch more different creatures and stuff like that.
Beat you to it. They already do that. So one of the unlocks in the game is, so far, there's only one alternate Act 1, but it's the same spire, so it's not this other spire. And I do think that like this lore to me reads like maybe they're doing something like that. That feels ambitious for like what the scope of the game is. So I don't know if we'll actually see another spire in this game, but there is like, it's the basically like the sewers. You can choose to like go up into the spire through the sewers basically, and you do run into different enemies. You don't choose. It's random, like which zone you start in, but there are differences in the act. So in the first one, it was always the Exordium, the city, the Beyond, and then the ending. This one, at least for Act 1 so far, there is like a different setting, which presents different enemies, different elites, different act bosses, everything, basically.
That's cool. Something kind of visual made me laugh that nobody else can see but me. But there was like a speck of dirt on my screen, and I have you on my left screen, and I just licked my finger and wiped a little speck of dirt off your cheek, and it felt very intimate.
Thanks. You see how nice it is when Pete's not here? We can just be intimate and vulnerable with each other. God, so beautiful. I can safely say that knowing that none of us have ever listened to an episode that we're not on. So maybe the first 10 seconds, but never this far in. Pete's not here right now. So everyone listening at home, you guys can right now say whatever you want about Pete.
I think of the three of us, Pete is for sure the one who would listen to the whole thing, though, to see what happened when I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because he always knows what the opening is. I never listen when I'm not there to see what the opening is of how I killed myself with masturbating or whatever. But he always listens. So he at least...
I don't even listen on half the episodes that I'm on. You know what I mean? I'm here and I'm not listening. I'm certainly not listening when I'm not here.
Well, yeah, we're working so hard to be mediocre funny, you know. We're just thinking the whole time about what we're gonna say, and
but we do mediocre right. Can I say? I do feel like we found that perfect sweet spot of not very funny. You know what I mean? It's good. It's good.
Yeah, it works for me.
It took us 9 years. Right? Anyway, so the Silent is dying, right? She's got radiation burns. She threw plutonium into the ocean. She threw her car battery into the ocean, and she got terrible burns. Like maybe that would be bad news, but she's gonna come up with a plan here pretty quickly, okay? Because as the timeline quotes us here, the clouds churn maliciously as the capital trembles beneath a storm so violent that none dare to leave their homes. 12 days later, the rain stops. The clouds remain, but the flame has gone out. The spire opens its doors once more.
Well, we can... I gotta say, though, the Silent got sick, even though she had a mask, so kind of proof that masks don't work, huh?
Whoa, yeah. Checkmate.
Checkmate.
Checkmate, liberals. I mean, The skull motif of a mask too, which doesn't cover your face, is pretty evocative of the kind of person who's out there saying masks don't work. No shade if that's you, but they do work. I don't know.
Nah.
Big skull. No, it doesn't cover your face. Just like comes down to here and covers your eyes. Basically, you're like, I'm wearing a mask.
So okay,
So
the
yeah,
big fire at the top of the spire goes out.
there's a big rainstorm. Puts the fire out. And then the spire's doors, which have remained firmly shut this whole time, it seems like, open. So again, there's a city that's been built around the spire now, and the doors have opened. They've never opened before. All these people making pilgrimages, they just made it to the spire. They wouldn't make it out of the spire, basically, right? And the silent is like, well, I'm dying. I'll go check it out. You know what I mean? I got nothing to lose at this point. So they head there. The defect, I could not tell if the defect. They went to a place called the Scrapyard, capital S. Could not tell if the Scrapyard was in the spire and they never left the spire, or if it was somewhere else. Again, we didn't get an origin story for the defect. They kind of just show up and go fight the heart one day, basically. Don't know if we will, but they are also keen on taking on the spire again pretty quickly. They're not the only ones, of course. Like I said, the city has flourished around the base of the spire, and suddenly this light has gone out. The doors have opened, and from those doors, terrible monsters, right? Beasts of imagination are spilling forth from within the spire and pouring out, right? So that like it's not just the heroes that canonically go into the spire. The first group of normies, I guess you could call them, to enter the spire is a group known as the 12. And here's their quote from the timeline. Who is worthy to enter the exalted spire? The capital gathers the most brilliant, formidable, and courageous from all the lands. 12 explorers formed an expedition and advanced inside to make history. None made it back. So yeah, normies, get on our level. You got to be a gamer, okay?
Yeah.
Normies, have you tried gaming?
I don't think they have.
No, they wouldn't be normies if they had.
Nope.
They'd be gamers, of course. Hey, here's the thing, because you meet normies in your day-to-day life, and you're like, why aren't you a gamer? It's so easy.
Yeah.
Download Candy Crush, bro. download King Shot, okay? It's so fucking easy. Just be a gamer, man, and then you don't have to be a normie.
Dude.
God.
Yeah,
I hate them.
I can't imagine like finishing work and then just wanting to just look at my phone for 5 hours and call that a night, or just watch TV completely. Like I need to be an active part of my media. I need to like have a role in it. I have to feel like there's progression. I'm just a gamer.
Here's the thing. What's on my phone? Am I gooning? Because I could goon for that long, I think. Right?
Yeah. Probably.
Is that long? Is that a long goon sesh? What's my time like?
It takes me on average that long to try and find an erection. So
I'm always losing it around the house, honestly.
Yeah.
Likes to hide under the bed. So yeah, we got regular people, scientists, historians, adventurers who are attempting to make it into the spire. These 12 are the first. They're not the last people to enter the spire and try and make it back out. Some of them do get in and get out. But typically the lower floors, like the higher floors where it gets harder, it's much more difficult. And we haven't heard of anybody yet making it to a higher floor and making it out alive, except for somebody we'll talk about in a little bit, maybe. But somewhere within the spire, which was once their prison, Niao, the mother of resurrection, has also woken up, right? So Niao, they were imprisoned in the spire. They wake up and realize, like, oh shit, doors are open. People are coming in. What's going on over here? Where's my heart? It's hiding under the bed with my erection. Those two go hand in hand, though, right? Because you can't have one without the other.
Yeah. No, you can't. Yeah.
That's why women don't have hearts. They can't get erections. It's proof. Right? I think that's what the definition of proof is. Yeah. Your Honor, I would like to submit some evidence. No, yes, I am still representing myself, Your Honor, please.
I'm still representing myself.
You can stop asking. I'm not getting a lawyer. ChatGPT's doing it for me, okay?
For
So
some
Meow's
things, I feel like I could represent myself for some things. Like if there's, you could probably get like a list of like 8 to 10 things that like check if your ticket has this, right? And then like if you find one of them that is not in like that like can get it thrown out, then I don't know. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna say, yeah, in most, like, if you're contesting a ticket, I don't think you get a lawyer to contest a ticket, but it's not like if it's a trial. If you're going to trial,
Mm.
I don't think you can contest yourself. I don't think you can represent yourself. And the reason for is because it's LARPing, right? Like lawyers are LARPers. That's what they love. And they love just having like, you got to do things in a specific order and you got to, you mean I have this evidence and I have to share it with the other team before I'm allowed to use my evidence?
Yeah.
No, this was a smoking gun. What do you mean I can't call a surprise witness? You know what I mean? Like,
The
so
L,
lawyers
A,
love
and
their
R in lawyer are all for live action and role play. I don't know what the middle part is for,
yeah, that's
but
right.
it's all in there.
Unimportant, clearly.
Yeah.
But the live action role play is in lawyer. They used to be called lawyerps, but the ERP was getting them in some trouble at the end of lawyerp. So,
Yeah. Remember when we built our own swords to go do live action role play?
I didn't build one with you, but I did have your sword in my apartment
Right.
for years.
Right. Yeah, and then so I'd imagine the judge would have to buy pool noodles to build his little mallet, right?
His
Yeah,
gavel, yeah.
yeah. You don't want to use real
Made
wood.
out
You
of
can
foam
hurt
core with a
someone.
little bit of PVC in the middle. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
There's
remember.
always that one lawyer who's like, no, the gavel didn't hit. The gavel didn't hit, actually.
Yeah, there is no order in the court. I remember your brother at one point put my LARP sword up in a tree, and I had to go climb and get it down. That's about right.
Yeah. I also feel like I remember him hitting you with it, and then the foam came off, and then him hitting you with the PVC pipe that's in the middle of it.
Yeah, I fell into the garden that your mom takes such nice care of, running away from him, and he beat me with the PVC pipe. I've always been the oldest brother in my home, so I got to I got to live
So when you
action
moved in
role
with
play.
me,
Yeah,
you're bottom dog now. Huh?
yeah.
Not bottom. I guess you're second from the bottom. But...
Yeah. Goop was always nice to me, but he still had higher standing in the home, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
He just saw me and my older brother picking on you, and it's like, well, it feels weird to be so nice to him. I guess I gotta get in the occasional jab here, you know.
Yeah.
The pecking order is a weird thing among young males, let me tell you, but made us who we are. That's all
Yep.
we can say, huh?
Yep. I had a house to stay in for a year. I'll take a PVC pipe or two. That's all right.
So Niao wakes up. The ancient wakes up. She's not the only one, though. Okay, so this quote I thought was really interesting. It says, the ancients emerged from hiding and head to the spire. It has been too long since they had received its blessings. Right? So weird timing to me. I don't know if it's a continuity error. I don't know if there's just like there's a gap that we missed here or something where they didn't flee the blight right away. But the ancients saying like it had been too long since they received the spire's blessing. Like each ancient had its own tree, which they presumably received their own blessings from, right? So Loreboy's canon is that the spire is presumably the last of the ancient trees, maybe the last of the ancient trees above water, and that the ancients were getting something from it being the last one. Maybe they imprisoned Yao in order to imprison the blight. And Yao did that, and then they were still able to use the spire as an ancient tree for a while, but eventually it got too bad that they had to flee as well. I don't know. That's a bit of speculation.
Kind of a little Hollow Knight situation there. Guy just keeping the poison within itself.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's why that's my Lord Boys canon, is because it's so much like Hollow Knight. But this is, I mean, Slay the Spire's up there in my top 10 with Hollow Knight for sure. So
It's
makes sense. Similar vibes.
To me, it's like good guy developers with an amazing game. Indie released at like reasonable price level. They're in the same category for me in terms of gaming out there.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, at some point the ancients did all have to flee, and they had to hide from the blight. The Niao wasn't able to contain it, I suppose. But now that the blight is gone and the spire is open, they are returning. So again, the ancients are the ones after each act boss in Slay the Spire 2. They're the ones that give you your rewards. Basically, they're often not relics. In the first game, it was always a relic. Most of them have a drawback, so often it's like you can no longer gain gold, but you gain an extra energy. Not all of them have drawbacks. Some of them are just good. Like Birdcage is just remove 2 cards from your deck, which is just good in most cases. But in this one, it's way less relics, and it seems way more, I don't know, less all bad, like less morally good, or not morally good. That's
Yeah.
gray, less gray, I think, where it's just
Right.
like most of them seem objectively good. In like just think of Deep Rock Galactic, the overclocks. You get
I
like clean
already,
overclocks,
yeah.
which are just positives, and then unstable overclocks are like you get huge positives, but there's a drawback to it. This one feels like it has way less drawbacks to me. But I don't know if
Yeah.
that's just I'm averse to those, so I don't pick them.
Speaking of good guy devs with just an indie game that does really well at a reasonable price point, another one, DRG,
Yeah,
and now they're teasing a roguelike where
yeah, Rogue Core.
Rogue
I'm very excited
Core,
for it.
yeah, it looks
Coming out
awesome.
next quarter is coming out in like a couple months. We don't know
Yeah,
when. No date yet, but looks amazing. I will get it and we will play it.
we will play it.
Surely. So the ancients clearly like covet the spire, this last ancient tree. Must bring them some source of power, but we don't really know what. It's interesting. Like Titskatera or something like that. He's like this scarecrow ancient. Who you meet, he's like a scarecrow that's on fire, which feels like bad for a scarecrow. But one of the rewards he gives you, just as an example, is he changes the map. So like the map in Slay the Spire 2 looks the exact same as it did in the first one. He'll change the map so it's not branching. You just get a single special path, and it's like it's a set path for Act 2, I think it is. Which is the only time that happened in the first game was in Act 4, but it was very short. It was only four things long.
Now that you've told me it's a tree, the branches make way more sense for how you progress.
Oh yeah, branching up the tree.
Yeah, and then the scarecrow can like burn down all but one branch.
All but one branch. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grabbing a picture of the scarecrow for the.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I took a bunch of, I play on my Steam Deck and I took pictures of all of these. I took screenshots of all these, and then right before recording, I was like, I forgot to transfer them from my Steam Deck to my computer, so we don't have pictures of these. But yeah, isn't he cute? He has a little judge's gavel, but it's candles burning on both ends, and he's literally burning the wick at both ends.
He is. I like how his
I like this
hands
guy.
are not like where you would expect them on a scarecrow. They're sticking out of like the collar of his shirt to hold his.
Yeah, he's like he's coming out of his collar. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like cozy under a big poncho, basically.
Yeah.
So around this time, the regent enters the spire. He's intent on myth making. Like he's like, I'm gonna be a hero for the people of Prion, and then they'll know that I am a special boy, basically. So he's still on that. Others, more regular mortals, continue to make expeditions into the spire as well. Like I said, okay. So we're gonna follow another little expedition here, and here's the quote: we were but meant to survey the preliminary floors, but it proved nothing like we had expected. Such wondrous wildlife, curious artifacts, and even wandering traders. From whence have these marvels arrived? Our team seems intent on hoarding riches, but at least my enthusiasm is shared by Giovanni. We have fallen madly in love, and soon shall welcome a child into our lives. Aww, isn't that cute?
That is cute.
I found love in a hopeless place at the in Act 1 of a great spire full of peace of imagination.
With a woman who had
That's
no heart.
what. Yeah, and a scarecrow that had no brains.
Yeah. Just fire.
No brains, just fire.
Yep.
So we have expeditions that are still making their way into the spire. It seems like they're going for riches for the most part, right? But we do have some people who are genuinely interested in stopping the monsters that are pouring forth, figuring out what the deal with the spire is, all that stuff, right? And two of these people who are interested in that is a couple which has fallen in love. They get busy making babies. They keep up with the dangerous work of scientific exploration even after starting a family, right? Pretty reckless, I would say, to keep in that line of work when you have a child. And then also to bring the child into the spire with you feels insane to me, but that is something that they decide to do, I guess.
Well, that's how you make sure your kid never dies. Is that it just dies over and over and over again, but is constantly resurrected.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are going great for things are gonna go great for our little girl, let me tell you. So,
Mhm.
um, so they've been sticking to the lower floors until they meet this giant, and the giant tells them like, "Hey, you guys are nice. I can help you out. I have a brother who lives up on the third floor, and I can take you to go see him, basically, right?" Um, so they're like, "Hell yeah, we've been stuck on Act One for so long. If you can take us to Act Three, I'm sure that we could figure out what the heck we can do about all these monsters, basically, right?" So, with their young daughter in tow, they ascend to the tippy top of the spire, guarded by the giant. Um, there, he introduces them to who he describes as his brother, who is also the current ruler of the spire, the architect. He basically takes them to the final boss and says, like, "Hey, this is the guy that you want to talk to about getting those monsters to stop." The new king in town does not take kindly to the intercession. Okay, he kills the parents outright. He kills the giant for leading them there, and it is said that only the little girl survived. Okay, eventually that young girl would be back, but not before she goes and gets a little book smart. So here's the quote. A young explorer unlatched the forbidden grimoire. Magics from another time and place explode outward as weightless dark smoke overwhelms this curious one. She gains the understandings of life and death, but at a cost. Her skin, hair, and organs rapidly rot away as her soul is forcefully bound into the locket in her pocket. The grimoire whispers, "If I die, you die." So this is the fifth character that we have in Slay the Spire 2. This is the Bone Binder, Necrobinder. I forget their name is. I didn't write it down.
Pretty good
Last
for
class.
placeholder art too. Like a lot
This
more
is not
drawn.
placeholder art. It's saying placeholder is a bug where
Oh.
if you are scrolling through the timeline and if you see it, like if you're scrolling through the timeline, the placeholder ones will, if you click on a placeholder one, it'll say placeholder in the bottom.
Mm.
But then if you just, without backing out of that picture and you just hit like the next button, it'll say placeholder on every picture that you look at.
Okay,
This is
got it.
not, this one's not placeholder.
Okay.
All the placeholder ones are like the city image and
Okay.
the star image that I shared there.
Yeah, it's like just like she's reading the grimoire that it's like a demon flesh book with teeth, and just her face is decaying, is like being peeled away, one eye's being flown out, like her skin is flying off of her into like this blue fire around her head. It's a very cool picture.
Yeah. Fair to say, she's a necromancer, I think, right?
Yeah.
A spooky book turned her into a skeleton. She raises a skeleton hand.
Yeah, you played this when we did our run. We did beat our run.
Yeah.
I played Ironclad, who's like the starting class, and you played this one. It's basically like a pet class where the pet will take the first 14 damage in any fight, right? Or something like
Not
that.
the first 14. Yeah, so it's like it starts with you summon one with the necromancer, which means like at the start of every turn you summon one. That's what like her starting mechanic is. And summon one is you create a skeleton with 1 health basically.
Okay.
And the skeleton takes damage before you, so it blocks 1 point of damage. But then you get cards which are like summon, and you can increase its health, so it continues to like absorb. And it's basically like lasting block. Like this one feels way overtuned to me. Like it feels so strong. This one also super easy to go infinite with. Like I've already been like really close to going infinite because you just get like they have these things called souls, which is just cost 0, draw 2 cards, and then you exhaust that basically, and you just get a way to like generate a ton of those. And then she has a power which is anytime you cast a soul, deal 6 damage to a random enemy.
Oh,
So you just like
wow.
you get that power, and then you just like you spam 15 souls, and you just like wipe the board. She feels so strong. It's
And
crazy.
then like on top of spamming the souls and like wiping the board, you're also like combing through your deck ultra fast to get those cards you would
Exactly,
want
yeah.
for the setup.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
So yeah, the only one that's left to venture to Spire 2.0, of course, is the Ironclad at this point. His old patron has been gone for a while, but he is eventually contacted by the demon. Okay, so when the architect had awoken from his sleepy tea, he ousted the sitting ruler of the Spire, the demon lord of Vaku. So I'm gonna say this is Lore Boys canon. It wasn't super clear. This guy made a pact with a demon who turns out to be an ancient, the demon lord Vaku, and he sends the Ironclad to go contain the blight because he wanted to rule the Spire. There's something, again, there's some sort of power with the Spire. So I'm going to say that Vaku has been reigning over the Spire, has been the controller of the Spire, the one who kept the doors closed for all this time with the purple fire burning at the top, was because it was that demon. Um, and then the architect shows up and ousts him basically.
Yeah, purple
So
has been demon so far.
yeah, you can look up Vaku in Slay the Spire 2. Fuck you in Slay the Spire 2. And you can see him. He's a classic demon. He has maybe one of the most interesting rewards that he can give, which is you gain an extra energy, but he plays your first turn for you. So it's like your first turn is just like random basically, like which cards you play. But then for the rest of the fight, you're at an advantage. And this is one that I really wish I had I had the screenshot, because the placeholder art for this one is very charming. But we'll post it for the patrons later, and I'll send it to you, Jamie.
Cool.
Patreon.com/LoreBoys if you want us to paste them conveniently for you. If not, buy Slay the Spire 2. That's all I can say. But here's the quote from Lord Vaku. The Spire was mine to rule, but the architect lives again. Look what he's done to my face. The demon throws a massive fit, smashing his chamber and setting all manner of things on fire. My death puppet. Brandish my power and kill again. Kill the architect. So it seems like the Ironclad's like been on vacation. They haven't had like the demon power, and now we are so back, baby. Because the demon's giving him the power, giving him the juice again. He's back on the juice. Basically.
I'm glad that death puppets get vacation time. That's really good.
Yeah, it's nice, right? And it's like, what's nice is like, it's when this guy rises to power. This guy seemed like, as far as rulers go, as far as like tyrants go, this guy seemed pretty chill. Because like he closed the doors, didn't let the monsters out into the town, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
Not all bad, right?
Yeah, he'll give you vacation. He gets to live in your body for the first day on vacation, but the rest is all yours. And then you're at
the rest is all yours. Yeah. He chooses what you do with that first day of vacation.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're so jet lagged anyway.
Yeah, give it.
You even want the first day? It's like the worst day of vacation. You know? So the architect has taken up residence in the Spire once more. They're at the top. They're treating it as they once treated the world of Prion. So the quote is, a being of immense power exercises his mastery of form and space once a day, shifting the very nature of the Spire. That is the canon for daily challenge runs, because the game does offer like daily challenge runs, so you compete for score with other people, basically. And so the heroes ascend again and again with the help of the ancients, trying to defeat the architect. At least for now, defeating the architect is impossible, but I'm sure we will, when the game goes into 1.0, we will be able to kill that smug son of a bitch for killing our family. That's it. That's Slay the Spire lore. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. I've been your host, Ethan Palmer. James, how are things going?
Thanks so much for that, Ethan. I'll try to upload this onto their YouTube, but Ethan and I did play Slay the Spire. So go check us out on YouTube. You can catch our video content. We're still building up our YouTube. It's like relatively new. It's not monetized or anything like that. So if you guys are able to go and get some watch time on our videos, it helps us out a lot. So this episode was up there. You already listened to it though. But anyways, have a friend listen to it again. Do it again.
Do it again. Burner account. Make a new account. Do it again.
You can watch me play my very first game of Slay the Spire 2, as well as Ethan's very first day of Slay the Spire 2, or day or two of Slay the Spire. And that'll be up there on the YouTubes. If you want to see me on Twitch, twitch.tv/LoreBoyJames, where we'll play stuff like this. We'll play, I think we're going to try to play Magic the Gathering this week, even. You can just come hang out, be a part of the community. We've got like 5 people who are just there every single time, and you could be number 6. You get in on the ground floor.
True. Yeah. Jamie will give you mod and VIP.
I'll give you everything. Yeah. I'll give you Ethan's home address even.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. You guys can swap me. Yeah. First 50 subs get to swap me. Yeah. If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/LoreBoys. Check it out. There's a link in the description. And if you want to leave us a rating or review on your podcast app of choice or on YouTube, leave us a comment. We're not great at answering them. We're not great at answering anything, guys, but we love you, people who are commenting, for the engagement. We don't know what it does, but every YouTuber out there says it does something. So we're sheep and we're going along with the flock, okay? We appreciate it. Thanks so much. And of course, if you don't trust LoreBoys, If you don't trust Lore Boys Prime, we have Patreon. But if you don't trust Patreon, we have Lore Boys Prime, a service which we've always offered, of course. We are looking for trophies. Find the most diseased animal you can, take a piece of its heart, and bring it to BoyCon to show us. Basically, we do expect everyone at BoyCon to have a piece of a heart with them. Okay, that is part of the admission fee. But oh no,
we're gonna have a wet market boys con. They're just gonna be a
hell
bunch
yeah,
of different...
dude.
All right,
we're gonna fucking blow COVID-19 out of the water. Let me tell you. Okay, that shit'll look so tame by comparison. You hear a little thing called the Resident Evil? That's what we're fucking shooting for. Okay, so bring us your diseased hearts for the Lore Boys wet market.
Hell yeah.
And I think that would constitute a Lore Boys
Boys.
out.